iPhone has been considered a luxurious product in India ever since the day it was launched here. It is a prominent symbol, a product of prestige, a sign of opulence for the people in India. But does it carry the same proud to be an iPhone honor status in other countries as well? And does it fall into the same price segments in India as it does outside? The iPhone 13, which is the latest model from Apple, was launched at Rs 80,000 in India, whereas in UAE you could get it for Rs 66,000 and in the USA for Rs 58,000, which makes the iPhone 13 35.7% costlier than the US model. But if you compare the prices of the iPhone 13 Pro model, the prices are a staggering 61.7% more as compared to the USA counterpart, with Indian launch price at Rs 1,20,000 and USA at Rs approximately 73,000. Well, I think we have answered the price point questions. But do we know the intricacies of the truth which drive these answers in making the iPhone so expensive in India? I think not. Right now, Apple is producing iPhones out of their Foxconn plant in Tamil Nadu and Wistron plant in Karnataka, with the Pegatron plant to start its operations in this fiscal year under the Government of India PLI scheme, to which we will come back later in the video. With this plant in full flow, Apple is reported to produce 47,000 crores worth of iPhones from India, of which 60% of the iPhone units will be used for export. Despite the iPhone manufacturing being set up in these plants in India and producing these big numbers for the organization, and the domestic Indian manufacturing getting the added benefit from the 20% import duty which the company is saving, the elephant in the room to be addressed is that why the prices of these iPhones are still stuck in the pre-made in India era, and why are these not getting cheaper for the Indian consumers? Well, the reasons behind this can be covered broadly under four major segments, with the first one being the OEMs. The OEMs are the original equipment manufacturers which manufacture the individual components which go into making an iPhone. Since India as of now does not have the semiconductor market big enough to manufacture and then supply these components such as the PCBA, printed circuit board assembly, these incur Apple hefty import duty of 20% to bring into the country to the assembly plants. Similarly, the iPhone chargers also come with an import duty and are not produced in India. So the same import duty cycle repeats itself. Following this import duty price, then there is a goods and service tax which comes into the picture, which is hefty 18% standard for all the smartphones in India, which raises the cost of the iPhones. The second major segment contributing to the high price of the iPhones is Apple's global pricing strategy. Tech giants like Apple, who take pride in making their products more premium and more stylish, would simply not forgo their profit margins so easily. They have been selling their products with higher prices in India, and since they're entering the Indian markets, they have been witnessing growth on a year-on-year basis, with fiscal year 21 clocking in more than 5 million units. So why would a company which is selling more every year, even with higher margins on their products in the same market, just forgo their profits? They simply won't. Had the iPhone not been selling, it would have been a different story altogether to look at the pricing structure. But since that's not the case, the company would keep on welcoming the increased margins happily. The third segment to the higher price structure is the currency depreciation. Indian consumers suffer at the hands of a weak currency with respect to the dollar. This is further alleviated with the repercussions the rupee faces due to the ongoing Ukraine and Russia war and the expected hike in the US interest rates, which has further deteriorated the value of Indian rupee by 3.5% in 2022. Now we can surely compare this scenario with country like Japan, which is fairly the same currency conversion to the rupee comparing to the dollar. But then the iOS penetration in Japan is far more than in India, and the import duty rates in Japan are far more lenient than in India. So obviously Japan becomes the go-to market for manufacturer like Apple to focus, since they know they are going to sell more units in that market. India, where the rural penetration is quite low, makes it difficult for the company like Apple to sell their products directly, and this makes them dependent on the third-party vendors, distributors, transport agents and other middlemen to sell their products. As soon as these third-party variables are introduced to Apple's supply chain strategy, it raises the flag of hefty cuts at these ends, shooting up the price for the end consumer. Now, Apple does try to counter this hike by ensuring that channel and sales partners float offers to make products more affordable to consumers, like tying up with banks to offer cashbacks on credit or debit cards. But then there's only so much you can float. So, the unstructured sales channel with diversified small retail model still drives the prices for these products. Now that we know the underlying reasons why the iPhones are still so costly in India, can we be even a tad bit optimistic for the prices to go down in the future? Well, let's look at some facts to try to answer this. Now coming back to the PLI scheme launched by the Government of India. PLI stands for Production Link Incentive, which provides financial incentives for businesses to augment their production output. The benefits of a PLI scheme are generally passed on to the end consumers of the goods in the form of lower costs. We know that Apple's Pegatron plant, which is going live this year, is covered under this scheme and targets to produce iPhones with more than 68,000 crores in value in the next 5 years. Now, if these target figures are achieved, Apple could be in for a treat with more than 3,000 crores in incentives coming from the Indian government, which could bring the prices down for the Indian consumers. Another major problem which could be solved in coming future, which could drive the prices of iPhone down, is the ramping up of semiconductor technology in India, which could help Apple save on import duties for the chips they have to import from the OEMs. To counter the unstructured retail problem in India, Apple has introduced their own online and offline stores to sell their products, which could bring the dependency on the third-party retailers down and save on unnecessary intermediate share of pie, however small it be. So all in all, yes, the prices could reduce, but that is still a 5-year scenario we are talking about. So let's not get our hopes too high yet. In the meantime, you could subscribe to the channel for more great mindful content ahead. See you all next week with another informative video.